Scott County patrons, my name's Amanda and I'm coming to you from Scott County Public Library today. Today I'm bringing a very unique craft. It's called Whirlygig Brooch. And here's what they look like. I've got a smaller green one, and then I've got one made out of actual book pages. Though once an ornament worn by women of a certain age, brooches have actually become quite popular accessory for all ages. They're made out of recycled book or map pages. They used to be made out of newspapers. They are definitely a one-of-a-kind conversation starter, can be worn proudly at any event, party, or even given as a gift. So there's a couple supplies that we need to be able to do one of these. I did two of them. I did one out of just regular book pages that I just tore out of a book and cut into, let's say, about 1-inch strips. And then I did another one that was made out of what you call origami paper. And it comes like this. It comes in many different colors, rainbow colors. And so I decided with it, February coming up, we would go with kind of the pink and red Valentine's theme. So I've got a few cut out here. And then what else would we need? We're going to need some a backing, which would be the brooch backing, which would be a pin backing, which would actually be how you would attach the brooch to you. So it looks like that. In addition to some of this, I used this liquid adhesive glue and some super glue to finish out the edges, a pair of scissors, and this is what is a stitch puller. And actually, these are used to roll the pieces of paper into curls for the actual craft, so that you can get the actual curling part at the end. And I actually ordered one of these off Amazon. So. My mom actually has one and offered to loan one to me as well. So they're really neat, unique things. So basically the first thing to do is start and decide what you want to use and cut your paper into 1-inch strips like this, 1-inch wide strips. And I just used like a regular hardback book. And like I said, just these little origami papers. So the first thing to do is cut them into the little strips. And then what I found was easiest was to go ahead and actually adhere some glue to one edge of it. And then I would just attach another one to it, and I'm going to build upon this one. Basically, I'm going to glue 3 or 4 and make this one very long strip piece of paper. And what that's going to do, when I roll it, that is going to end up making the inside of the Whirlygig brooch. It's basically a whirl of paper. So that's what's going to happen there. And I'm just using this glue right here. You can use anything you want. You can use, they recommend a glue stick. You can use a glue gun. You can pretty much do anything you want to. This seemed to be pretty good and fast drying for me. And so it just depends on how wide or how big you want the center disc to be on how many strips of these paper that you're going to use. So we'll just put one more down here. Push down here and make sure those dry a little bit before we start rolling them up. And then what I did was I'm going to fold them up like this, and that's going to make a little gap in there, which is going to be really, really neat to see what we are able to do in a minute with that. So we're just going to take these papers and fold them over like this, and we're just going to keep going all the way to the end. Just like that. And you're more than welcome to actually fold them before you glue them. It just depends on your preference. So just keep on folding just like this. Then at the end we have a really, really big long piece of pink paper here. And this is where the fun part comes in. This is where we lay it out. And we're actually going to take our seam stitch puller. That's what it's called, stitch puller. And we're going to actually attach it. So this is going to be used kind of to grip the paper as you curl. And you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So we're just going to take it like that, and then we begin guiding it into, rolling it up into a circle. I'll show you what I mean when I hold this up. So we're going to just do like that. And as you can see, it's twisting around itself. It's twisting all the way around itself to make up what looks like the middle of this. And what I did is I went along, I actually used the glue and went ahead and put some glue on there and went along, and it just kind of stuck. So I didn't have to worry about gluing later. Now, a few things I did have to come back along and do and use some of the super glue to make sure that it adhered and stayed really, really well. That was what I finished up later on. So you're just going to keep twirling like this, and pretty soon you're going to end up with a really nice big center disc. And like I said, you can use any color you want. You can use any paper that you want. You could even change things out again. Like what I tried to here was I actually added a piece of regular black paper in the middle there to make the print stand out. And you're just going to keep going. I'm going to flatten it down. I'm going to keep adding some glue. And basically when I get to the end of this, I'm going to make sure it all stays together. And you don't need a lot of glue either. I may be using a little too much here, but you can kind of like push in and make sure it's sturdy, and you can kind of push the glue around as you go. You need to wipe a little bit off here and there. So this is going to be a pretty decent size one. And what I found out too is sometimes the paper pops out on you, and you got to kind of flatten it back down and just keep rolling, and you're going to end up with your center disc. Now finish rolling this up and let this dry for a second before I show you how to do the outside. Keep on rolling, and it does get a little messy, but that's okay. That's part of the fun in crafting, I think. Keep going like that. Perfect. And now we're just going to let that sit there and dry for a little bit. Now what I would do for the next thing, and this is going to be what produces the little curls on the outside, is you're just going to want to do one of these. So I just take it like this and fold it. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go ahead, I think, and put a little bit of glue on that one. And I'm not going to tie the end of this one up. I'm going to show you how I can attach it to that. You want to do this on a surface that you don't mind getting, that you don't mind poking through if your stitch, if your seam ripper seems to poke through. You want to do it on a surface that it's going to poke through, or that you're going to get real messy. So we're using a little tablecloth here today, one that can just be thrown out or reused for another craft another time. So this would make your little bitty one. What you would end up doing is you would end up attaching it. There's going to be a little gap here because of where we folded it, how we folded it. This is what's going to produce our gap. So there's going to be a little gap there, and I'm actually going to insert this into the gap, and I would use some glue, and I would glue that down. And then I would go around and repeat that all the way around the circle until I have all these little whirligigs all around it. And then I'm just going to adhere my backing to it with you can use a glue gun, this adhesive glue, any kind of glue you want. You want to make sure you got a good stick though. And so there's what the back of that one looks like again. And if you want to, when you're done, you can even pull them out a little bit and kind of make them a little more bouncy if you want a little more flair. You can even add decorations to them. You can add these like diamonds, or you can add bows. Just depends on what you're looking for, what you're looking to do. And so like I said, afterwards, after I was done, I went in and I did a little bit of going in between here with the super glue just to make sure it had a good stick. And once it dries, it's very, very solid. It's a really good solid piece. So this is what a whirligig brooch is. So I hope you guys loved it, and I hope you guys enjoyed making it. And when the library does reopen, come in, wear them, show all of us, let us see what they look like. I would like to see all the colors. And again, I hope you enjoyed the program today, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, and watch the videos on YouTube. And if you don't have a library card, call in, we can get one for you. And don't forget all of our services such as curbside pickup and things like that. So thank you so much.